Hi friends, it's Leithia from Farm View Creators. Today we're going to work on this adorable JOY Nativity Door Hanger. It is an ornament layered piece. It has the shiplap. Everything that I love is in this. So I'm going to make my sticky board to get ready for this. This piece is 15 inches from top to bottom. So it's a good size. I decided to use makeup sponges to apply my paint this time. I've seen a lot of fellow affiliates and crafters do this, and I thought I would give it a try, and I actually really liked it. I do think that next time I'm not going to put them on clothespins though, because they kept trying to slip out. So I am using Paint Couture's mineral acrylic color Abyss for the Joy and the Nativity, and then I'm going to go in with Paint Couture mineral acrylic Evergreen for the greenery. And then I am lining up where that top shiplap piece needs to go, and then I'm just tracing around it so I know where to paint. And I'm going to go in with my current favorite red, Mulberry. This is another mineral acrylic from Paint Couture, and I am going with the grain of the wood as I do this as much as I possibly can. Just getting a good thin layer on there and then putting it aside to dry while I work on the next piece. I'm going to go in with Amy Howard at Home gel stain in the color Windsor Gray, and I'm just putting one light layer because I did not want it to be too dark because the other colors were fairly dark, and I wanted the wood grain to show up very nicely, which it does. So I'm going in and putting another layer of Mulberry on. The second layer, I always go just a little bit thicker than the first, just to get more full coverage. The mineral acrylics are really good for full coverage if you want more of a distressed look. The chalk style paints are really good for that. The mineral acrylics also have a built-in top coat, so that's really nice too. So I'm just putting another layer on my greenery and my words, and then you'll see me kind of hold it up and wiggle all the pieces around. I am just checking to make sure that I have even coverage across all of the pieces. Now these letters, I did kind of go back and spot hit a couple of places where I felt like they looked a little thinner with the paint than others. And then putting another layer on that evergreen. It's a really pretty green. Giving that a good dry before I move on. Just getting a third layer. A lot of times with those darker colors, darker reds, darker blues, you have to do 3 coats instead of just 2. So I was afraid I was going to have to do another coat of the Mulberry, but when I kind of wiggled it around, I did not need that. So I'm going to go in with a Luxe Metallic from Paint Couture. This is vintage lace. It is, to me, it's a gold shade, but it's not like a dark gold. It's a light, bright gold, which I really like. Because if I have to pick metals, I'm always going to go silver. But I love this vintage lace. And I am sprinkling, I put some water on my parchment paper, mixed it with some vintage lace, and just splattering it across the Joy. And then I'm going to use my blending brush, and I am just putting a little bit around the edge of the entire ornament piece. And just kind of trying to make sure I have a good coat of that so that you can see it. Giving everything a good dry before I go in with my dark wax. And I forgot to show it to you before I started, so I'm going to show it to you at the end. But this is Debi's DIY dark wax, and I use just a cheap stenciling brush to apply it. Go around the edges, just kind of blending it through just to give it that aged look. And on shiplap pieces, I like to go along the shiplap lines. I just feel like it enhances that look, especially when you're layering things on top of it. So going all the way around the edges as well. I keep those brushes in a Ziploc baggie so they don't dry out. And now I'm going to go in with my favorite top coat. This is Dead Flat from Couture. It takes out all the shine other than on those Luxe metallic pieces. And I feel like that makes the sparkle of the Luxe metallics pop even more for it to be on such a matte background color, you know? So just going to give that a really good dry. And sometimes you can even see it turning matte when you're drying it. It's really cool. I'm going to go in with my art glitter glue. You know, it's my favorite. It does not stick to your hands. It lets you wiggle things around, which I did. Every time I lift it up, I am just lifting to make sure that I have things on straight and even. I'm not so good at that, so I like to check several times. And I did start with the center piece and then built off of that. And then you can see I was wiggling that Y around, and I'll also wiggle the J around a little bit. Got a little bit of green there, and I just buffed it off with my fingers. And now I keep all of the jute that Christina puts in her packages. She puts beautiful tissue paper that smells yummy, and then she'll tie it up with jute, and a lot of times she'll have a little prize in there too. So I keep all that jute, and that's what I am using here. I used it for the hanger, and now I am just making a multi-layer bow and just wrapping a smaller piece around the center. And I needed the tails because I wanted to go in with some rusty bells. So I'm going to use my medium size rusty bells. I did get these off of Amazon, and I had to, you know, tape up the ends of that jute so that I could thread it through. And then I'm just trying to tie them off where they hang in different places. So there I'm just checking where I wanted it, and I wanted it to be a little higher. So I just knotted it again, take up some more of that string, and then I'm trimming those tails, making sure I like it, and then getting that glued on and just kind of playing with the positioning. And I adore how it turned out. Love the sparkle. There it is last night, and then here it is today in the sunshine on my front door. I love it. Love, love, love. Thank you so much for watching and joining. I hope you liked it. Be sure to subscribe.